Welcome, crypto fam, to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. In today's show, I'll be sharing the latest Bitcoin technical analysis as we drop below 62,000. We'll also be discussing FTX says Caroline Ellison to give up all of her assets in the settlement. We'll also be discussing Taiwan to trial crypto custody services through local banks in 2025. Let's go. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin following the perfect script to chart $150,000 all-time high for this cycle. I'll be breaking down this analysis, as well as who is Peter Todd, the man HBO identified as Satoshi Nakamoto. This was just revealed actually last night on HBO. And speaking of that, I'm also going to be sharing everything HBO's Bitcoin documentary got wrong, particularly about this guy, Peter Todd and Satoshi. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. Welcome everyone just joining us. If you're new to the channel, important to smash the likes, then go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell icon, turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every day, just like this. Today is pod episode 1782. I'm your host JV. It's October 9th, 2024. Let's kick it off with our market watch. We got Bitcoin correcting back in the red, trading just under $61,000, down 2% on the day, as you can see on Coin360. We have Ether down 1%. Maintaining above 2,400, while Solana, XRP, and the majority of the alts corrected. And checking out coinmarketcap.com. Current crypto market cap sits at $2.13 trillion. And we got the Bitcoin market cap just north of $1.2 trillion. We got 64 billion of volume in the past 24 hours, and the Bitcoin dominance is at 56.5%, while the Ether dominance is all the way down to 13.6%. And checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours, Chile's leading the pack, up 12%, followed by Leo 3% and Helium 2.5%. Very modest gains for the few in the green for today, as the majority of the market bleeding and in the red. And checking out the crypto bubbles, we'll get a visual perspective on the day. Sad to say, 90% of the market in the red. Zooming out on the monthly. Beautiful thing, at least we got 90% of the market in the green on the month. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index, we are currently rated a 49, still neutral, same as yesterday. Last week was a 42 in fear, and last month a 26 in fear. And checking out the time chain calendar, we have 185,000 blocks to go into the next halving. We're currently on block 864,938, and you can currently exchange $1 for 1,629 sats. So stack the sats accordingly. But let's continue with the news. Let's dive into our astrology for the broskies. Here's the latest TA. Also pull up some of the live charts. Brand new article here. Bitcoin's drop below 62 shows Bitcoin price remains on a delicate ground. You can say that again. Bitcoin's recent recovery above 63 was an attempt to reclaim the short-term hodler cost basis. But according to the Glassnode analyst, a key on-chain metric reveals Bitcoin resting on delicate ground. This recovery, we saw Bitcoin rise from a low of 59.8 October 3rd to a 7-day high of 64.4 on October 7th, saw Bitcoin rise above a short-term hodler cost basis, which currently sits at 62.5, quoting Glassnode. If the market fails to hold above this level, it'll put a large cohort of recent buyers under the increasing pressure, according to the analyst report. And the analysis of the true market mean, which sits at 47,000, and the active investor price sits at 52,500, provides an estimate of the average cost basis for the investors who are active within the current cycle. They also explain the spot price position relative to those two key price levels could be considered an area of interest for differentiating between macro bull and bear markets. And the report reveals that the Bitcoin spot price has traded above both of these price levels thus far this year. This suggests a relatively robust market, which has tended to provide demand support during the market drawdowns, as outlined here by Glassnode. They also use the UTXO realized price distribution tool to determine the current cost basis of the circulating Bitcoin. The analysis reveals the spot price is located within a very large cluster of coins ranging from 52 to 63,000, suggesting small changes in price can affect the profitability of a significant number of investors. The chart also marks out the URPD and the short-term hodler cost basis residing within the dense cluster. And 2 large supply nodes are located between the true market mean and active investor price. There are also several air gaps close to these critical price levels where very few coins were acquired, potentially marking them as points of interest in the event of a sharp downward movement. Quoting them again, this paints a picture of the market that rests on a delicate ground, with a large volume of supply likely to be sensitive to the next major market move. And according to the report, while these on-chain metrics reveal how delicate the Bitcoin market is with respect to the cost basis of the large volume of the circulating supply, this may tilt the same back in the favor of the bulls. Let's not forget what season we are. This is year of the halving, and this is Q4. Historically, Q4 years of the halving, we see 88% price increase on that price action. And checking out the live chart here, let's go through some live TA for you guys. This is brought to you via TradingView via Coinbase. This is the 1 hour chart. You can see we just had a big red candle, unfortunately, dragging us down under 61. We do have a bullish target, though, sitting at 66.4 here on the 1 hour chart. And zooming out some, we'll check out the 4 hour. Survey says we have 2 targets. We have a bull target at 81.3, which would take us to price discovery. And we do have a bottom target at roughly just shy of 41,000. That's on the 4 hour chart. Check out the 1 day chart. We do have a rising wedge formation, but we do have 2 bear targets, one at 47.7, and we have the green one sitting at 41,000 even. And zooming out from there, we have the weekly. The 1 week chart does still have that sexy cup and handle pattern sitting at 124,000, which I believe is in play here for Q4 sometime between October, December. And zooming out on the monthly, you can see we had 7 consecutive sideways trading action months. Looking for the big breakout this month of October. You let me know your thoughts where you feel the price action will likely take us. Next story, here's the latest with FTX's Sweet Caroline. Dun, dun, dun. Headline reads, FTX says Caroline Ellison to give up all of her assets. Oh no. In the settlement, FTX filed a motion seeking approval for settlement agreement with the former Alameda Research boss, Sweet Caroline Ellison, that would see her turn over substantially all of her assets. The motion filed October 7th requests the court authorize a settlement with Ellison, who agreed to transfer any assets not forfeited to the government in her criminal case or used for legal fees to FTX creditors. The motion noted that once she meets the terms, Ellison will have no remaining assets other than certain physical personal property, but did not specify the value of the assets she would forfeit. She also agreed to cooperate with the bankrupt crypto exchange investigation and court cases, which may include sharing documents or knowledge she gained as the former head of FTX sister trading firm and ex-girlfriend of the exchange's founder, Sam Bankman-Fried. FTX argued that the settlement is as beneficial as continuing to pursue Ellison in an adjacent court case because it gives substantially all they could recover anyway, and her additional cooperation provides significant value. And they said she is the best cooperated witness or person to testify of all time. That was according to the judge. They noted that pursuing litigation would deplete Ellison's remaining resources and cost time and money. Well, I've heard speculation she's worth billions. I don't know how accurate any of that is. I was hoping it would share an factual number of what she actually does own. But anyways, the FTX bankruptcy estate sued Ellison in July of 2023, alleging breaches of fiduciary duties, waste of corporate assets, and fraudulent transfers. They sought to recover $22 million in bonus payments dated to February of 2022 and $6 million in bonus payments from 2021. Just bonus payments. Additionally, the latest filing mentions call options and FTX equity fraudulently transferred to Ellison. A hearing on the proposed settlement is scheduled next month, November 20th. Ellison cooperated with federal prosecutors in the criminal case against Bankman-Fried and received a reduced sentence of 2 years, while Bankman-Fried is serving 25 years in prison. And anyways, for her role in the fraud, bankruptcy judge John Dorsey approved the FTX bankruptcy plan October 7th. Former customers and crypto holders are set to recover between 118 and 142% of the value of their claims. I don't believe any of that because they're not really, and this is a little misguided because they're giving you the proposed value at the bottom of the market in early 2022 or whenever in 2022 when they filed bankruptcy, Bitcoin was nowhere near where it is today. Today it's 61,000. Back then it was like 18,000. So for them to say we're recovering 118 to 142% of the value, yeah, from the bottom of the market, and people are still not getting everything back. So don't get it twisted. But anyways, what are your thoughts on all of that? And do you think if turning back the clock, do you think if Bankman-Fried did a guilty plea like Caroline did, that he would have potentially got a much lighter sentence versus 25 years in prison, like maybe only a couple of years like she did? Let me know your thoughts. But yeah, next story, we discussed the latest with Sweet Caroline. Now let's discuss Taiwan adoption. Taiwan to trial crypto custody services through local banks starting next year in 2025. Taiwan looking to advance institutional crypto adoption as local regulators aim to pilot crypto storage services through local banks. The Financial Supervisory Commission, known as the FSC of Taiwan, is preparing to launch an institutional trial of crypto custody services, local media Central Agency News reported October 8th. Let's go Taiwan. While the FSC reportedly expects to start collecting apps in the first quarter of next year, 3 private banks in Taiwan have already expressed interest in piloting a custody crypto business, citing explanatory information by the FSC. The report says financial institutions applying for the trial run on crypto custody would have to specify the type of assets they store for clients, such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Dogecoin. And additionally, the institutions must include information about the type of users they target, whether they are professional or general investors, crypto asset platforms, and others. FSC's director of the Comprehensive Planning Division, Hu Jiahua, mentioned at the news conference Monday, the authority expects to release info on the trial at least 15 days before accepting applications. The FSC will also collect public feedback on the proposed trial and revise the process accordingly. And Cointelegraph approached for a comment, but they did not respond. So is Taiwan the next major crypto market? Let's dive deeper. The report comes amid Taiwanese government growing involvement in crypto. October 2nd, the FSC updated Taiwan's anti-money laundering framework regarding the use of cryptos like Bitcoin. And in the update, the authority required all crypto companies to register with the government by September of 2025 or face harsh penalties such as prison terms or up to 2 years or 156,000 in fine, or both. Taiwan's FSC authorized professional investor to engage with foreign crypto exchange traded funds in September. The move aimed to expand investor options and improve Taiwan's financial market competitiveness, according to the commission. Taiwan has emerged as one of the most innovative markets in Asia, especially in tech and finance. And according to the legal experts from the regulated United Europe, Taiwan doesn't recognize crypto as a legal tender, but its government allows and regulates investments in crypto. And the FSC is actively working to create clear rules for the nascent industry. And according to the World Blockchain Summit, Taiwan is potentially the next major crypto market, despite the government's failure to pass crypto-related legislation thus far. While Taiwan has been actively adopting crypto, its neighbor mainland China announced a major crackdown on crypto transactions back in 2021. But there you go, let me know your thoughts with the adoption over in Asia, especially in Taiwan. And do you think other countries will likely do the same and allow banks to custody the biddy so we can eventually have more Bitcoin banks and borrow against your BTC? 150 G's, anyone? Let me know. This headline reads, Bitcoin following the perfect script to chart 150 G's. At the all-time high this cycle, and according to the latest analysis, so that's right. Bitcoin's price consolidating below the 2021 high of 69 G's, baby. An independent trader, Bob Lucas, says is entering an explosive period of the 4-year cycle. Quoting him here. Bitcoin closes the second year of its 4-year cycle next month, entering the third and historically explosive year of the cycle. Lucas uses a 4-year cycle to identify tops and bottoms in the Bitcoin market. Historical similarities may help identify when the market will peak in the current cycle. Lucas sees Bitcoin currently accumulating in a descending broadening wedge following its drop from 73.8, the current all-time high achieved on March 14th. He predicts Bitcoin can soon enter a parabolic uptrend, buoyed by shifting investor investment and interest rate cuts. Let me know if you agree, disagree. An 8-month base has been built, sentiment reset, and rates are easing. I mean, the script is perfect. Lucas's analysis comes amid the general market uncertainty and fear driven by continued geopolitical tension, the upcoming U.S. presidential election, and doubts about the health of the U.S. economy. Giving the above, the bulls have to hold out the 8-month base in October by producing a monthly candlestick close above the upper trend line of the broadening wedge pattern to confirm entry into the third year of the cycle. In light of this optimistic outlook, analysts at blockchain analytics firm Santiment observe heightened levels of investor interest in Bitcoin for the fourth quarter. Quoting them here, analysts and community members continue their optimism about October and the potential for the bull run 2024, where it's also growing institutional interest in Bitcoin, particularly with the anticipation of further spot ETFs. Now, if the speculative buying continues, the resulting FOMO could lead to a significant bounce, as predicted by Lucas, with rising institutional demand and a return of net inflows to the U.S.-based spot Bitcoin ETFs. Bitcoin could follow the positive Q4 narrative and continue the 4-year cycle. So there you go. Let's discuss who this mysterious Peter Todd is that HBO believes is Satoshi. Headline here reads, "Who is Peter Todd, the man HBO identified as Satoshi Nakamoto?" So how many of you watch Money Electric, the Bitcoin mystery? It's live now on HBO as of last night, and they identified a man by the name of Peter Todd as the infamous Satoshi Nakamoto. Todd denied being Nakamoto both before the documentary debut and after it aired. Bluntly posted on X, "I am not Satoshi." However, the question remains, who is Peter Todd and why do so many people believe he is Satoshi? Peter Todd is a prominent Canadian developer. And let me know if you've ever heard of him, family. With a background in cryptography, computer science, and digital security, he is best known for his contribution to the development of Bitcoin Core, the main software implementation of the Bitcoin protocol. Todd has been a Bitcoin Core developer at Bitcoin platform CoinKite. Oh, shout out CoinKite. They're the ones that produced the cold card. Since July of 2014, and a board advisor at the digital collectible platform Verisart since 2015. His contributions to the blockchain can be traced back to the birth of Bitcoin itself, placing him as a contemporary of Nakamoto. Now, the HBO documentary filmmaker Colin Hoback goes further, naming him as Satoshi Nakamoto himself. So the filmmaker believes it's Satoshi. This is linked to what Hoback claims is a new piece of evidence, supposedly crucial to the case. In the December 2010 thread on the forum Bitcoin Talk, Todd replied to Nakamoto in a thread about fees. Hoback and HBO contend that this reply under Peter Todd's own account was a careless mistake and that Todd is Nakamoto and had planned to append his previous post as Satoshi. Interesting. And although HBO seems convinced that this shows Todd is Nakamoto, not everyone's so quite sure. BitMEX Research is amongst those skeptical of the HBO claims. In an October 8th post, they stated some of the evidence presented in the documentary was clearly ridiculous, as there was zero reason to believe it. According to BitMEX Research right there. So whether Todd is Nakamoto or not, his long-standing ties to Bitcoin are undisputable. Todd is not the only one of the earliest contributors to the Bitcoin Coinbase, but he is amongst the few who publicly communicated with Satoshi before Nakamoto disappeared in 2011. In the 2019 podcast, Todd said he was about 15 when he started communicating with the early Bitcoin contributor, Hal Finney, rest in peace, and Hashcash inventor Adam Back. Both Finney and Back have also been named as Nakamoto contenders over the years. Todd was 23 when Satoshi published the Bitcoin white paper in 2008. Young gun, outlining a vision for decentralized peer-to-peer payment system. And through his years of work on Bitcoin and blockchain more generally, Todd has proven to be an extremely knowledgeable and adept developer. This proves that Todd has the requisite skills and experience to be a worthy Nakamoto candidate. Todd also has opinions on decentralization and security that broadly align with Nakamoto. Although this is almost certainly true of most people on the blockchain, Todd also keeps a relatively low profile, suggesting he has similar predilections, I don't know if they meant predictions, to the Bitcoin inventor. Although Todd has at times denied being Satoshi, he has at other times said, "I am Satoshi." Well, to be fair, who hasn't said I am Satoshi? I mean, for Christ's sake, we all say that. This is widely interpreted as I am the Spalticus tactic, allowing the real Satoshi to hide amongst his peers by creating false positives. Indeed, Todd has also said he believes that almost everyone has a claim to being the inventor of Bitcoin. And we all know who is not Satoshi, the one person claiming to be him, Craig Wright, fake Toshi. But yeah, let's get into our featured story of the day. Here's everything HBO got wrong about their alleged Satoshi Nakamoto, Peter Todd, as well as Satoshi Nakamoto himself. I'm going to be breaking down all the errors. Now, the documentary Money Electric, The Bitcoin Mystery aired last night, October 8th, on HBO. If you watched it, let me know in the chat. It claims to reveal the identity of Satoshi, which has been a mystery for the past 15 years. The film suggests that Peter Todd, Bitcoin core developer, is secretly Nakamoto. However, there are several inconsistencies quickly emerging when the facts are examined a little more closely. So let's break this one down. One of the central claims of the HBO documentary is that Todd used this anonymous title to give Bitcoin credibility, despite Todd's personal timeline contradicting this theory. Bitcoin launched in 2008 while Todd was studying for a fine arts degree. And although Todd had interest in cryptography, he has publicly stated he didn't begin working on Bitcoin until 2014. In the documentary, Todd sarcastically remarks that he is Satoshi, a comment that HBO may have taken too seriously or used to further an already overstretched and unwinding theory. Here's what he stated. "Oh no, I am Satoshi. I am Satoshi Nakamoto." I guess that's all it took for HBO. They're like, sold. Anyways, the HBO documentary presents evidence in the 2010 post on the Bitcoin Talk Forum, one of the oldest online communities dedicated to discussing Bitcoin and crypto-related topics. The filmmaker implies Todd accidentally posted from his account instead of Satoshi's, allegedly revealing himself when finishing Satoshi's thought and disappearing alongside the Bitcoin creator. Here's what he explained. Satoshi's last post was 1 week after I signed up for Bitcoin Talk, but then I disappeared. Despite Todd's implied tone that it was coincidental, the filmmaker uses this to suggest a more suspicious connection than a mere coincidence. And maybe they're also doing that to get more eyeballs to watch the documentary, them claiming to know the secret identity, you know what I mean? But dismissing the accusations throughout the documentary, Todd repeatedly critiques the filmmakers for sensationalizing the story, calling them pretty creative when creating the crazy theories that Todd says are ludicrous. In a sarcastic tone, Todd remarks, "Of course I'm Satoshi, and I'm Craig Wright," making it clear that he finds the accusations absurd. He also predicted the documentary would be very funny for a bunch of the Bitcoiners. Let me know if you thought it was funny watching it. I got a lot of feedback that it was boring. I didn't hear funny yet, so let me know. It's going to be yet another example of journalists really missing the point in a way that is very funny. The point is to make Bitcoin the global currency, and people like you being distracted by nonsense can potentially do good on that. And the documentary also claims that Todd's introduction of replace by fee in 2014 was pre-planned feature tied to Nakamoto's original vision of the Biddy. However, this falls short as an RBF was not part of the crypto's initial design. Todd's introduction to RBF came years after Satoshi's disappearance, but the filmmaker implied that RBF was tied to the government influencer after John Dillon offered a $500 reward for the solution. The strangely small fee, as stated in the documentary, is presented as suspicious in the film, but seems more like an attempt to build a larger narrative without sufficient supporting evidence. So there you go, yo. The mystery of Satoshi Nakamoto. Will it ever be solved, or will it remain a mystery for centuries to come? Let me know your thoughts, family, and welcome everyone to the Q&A segment of the live stream. There's your opportunity to ask questions and get your questions answered. Drop comments. Big hurricane about to make landfall in Florida. Family, be safe out there. And again, lots of prayers to anyone being affected in the trajectory of Milton, Hurricane Milton. I hear it's a level 3 or 4 at this current moment. I'm hoping this documentary just brought more eyes to it. Oh, of course. I think so.